Hello, everybody. This is Sue Maya and another episode of Quantum Theology. Today we're going to talk about forgiveness. It's a difficult subject for many, but I think I have a solution for you. Forgiveness doesn't mean being weak or being submissive. It doesn't mean being beat up and abused and not doing anything about it. Forgiveness is freedom. You have to think about forgiveness as releasing all those negative things from your life, releasing burdens and baggage of emotions and resentments so that you have more freedom to think and feel as you choose. Let me share with you some passages out of the Unity Church writings, and I've modified them just a little bit to make them a little bit more acceptable and appealing, especially if you are hurt and you're suffering through hard times. There is a way to use forgiveness to help you. First, I choose to forgive myself and others. I may occasionally encounter people who seem rude, inconsiderate, or selfish. I may even harbor a long-time resentment. Noticing my anger is a good beginning because I can only change what I'm aware of. Someone may have taken my parking spot today or said something hurtful long ago. Either way, I consciously reframe the way I see the incident. I remember that others have their own challenges and that I can release them from any ongoing resentment as I release myself. I remember we are all human and we all make mistakes. As I forgive myself and others, I release a heavy burden from my consciousness and embrace freedom. And the quote out of Psalms 51, line 10, "Create in me a clean heart, O God, and put a new and right spirit within me." Now think about this. Why does it say reframe? It's almost magical. Let me tell you how you can reframe hurts from the past so that you can release them. Let's say, in a metaphor, you're looking at, and you can close your eyes to do this visualization. You're looking at a pretty picture of flowers. It's on the wall. Beautiful colors, pastels, maybe very light and airy, free. The wind is blowing in the background. There's a blue sky. You see all the detail. And yet while you're sitting there looking at the picture, you notice that it has been framed in a heavy black frame. A heavy black border of wood or painted wood or lacquer surrounds this beautiful, light, airy picture. And every time you look at it, you're saying, but this picture is framed wrong. It's dark. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like how it is. It makes me feel confined. Blah, blah, blah. These are the things that you're thinking. You're looking at this beautiful picture, but it's framed wrong. Well, framing is a lot like perspective. Let's say you change the frame around the flower picture. You decide instead, remove the black, thick borders, and you put on a very thin, golden, shiny one. Suddenly, it pops. The colors in the picture are resonating with the frame. Everything seems to be brighter, lighter. You breathe more deeply. It's acceptable to you now. And every time you look at it with this golden frame, it's more acceptable. You think it's okay now. I like to look at this memory. I like to look at this picture. I've reframed it in such a way that it becomes more likable. That's how reframing works. It's a change in your view of a situation. It doesn't change the situation. It only changes how you see it. So if you reframe something that happened to you in a new light, with a new color and a new background, you can feel differently about it. That's the simplest way for me to explain reframing. Here's another aspect of forgiveness today. I am an expression of God's perfect love. When children are first learning to ride a bicycle, training wheels enable them to know how it feels to be in balance. And I consider forgiveness a similar aid in my spiritual growth. Forgiveness is a kind of training wheel that enables me to learn how it feels to be in harmony. When I practice being non-judgmental and remaining totally focused on the love of God, I'm opening the way to harmony and understanding every situation. In the meantime, when I have not learned to pass judgment on the actions of someone else, I will no longer need to forgive, for I will have nothing left to forgive. If others have done or said something that upset me, I bless them and go on my way. I'm secure in the truth of my being. I'm an expression of God's perfect love. The training wheels are off, for I have moved beyond the need to forgive. And what does that do for you? Well, here in 1 Corinthians 12, line 31, it says, strive for the greater gifts, and I will show you a still more excellent way. In other words, if you can learn to forgive even the most horrible things, acts of violence, things that we hear in the news, pictures that upset us, words, gossip, whatever it is, if you know how to give back what is happening, give it back to those people, give it back to those situations, those corporations, those systems, you are forgiving them. You're giving them back. So think of it as before it hits you and damages you, before you give it back. So it's not saying that you can change everybody by giving back what they've done. It means you don't have to take on the responsibility of changing people. You don't have to change the world. It's nice if you could, but if you could just do these few things, you will be given greater and greater spiritual gifts by God, because He's waiting for you to take on these challenges so that you can be ready for a higher level of service, for a higher level of understanding, for a higher level of being in the world, and become that perfect love like He is. And you can only really receive those gifts when you make yourself ready. Not by complaining, not by yelling, not by carrying the negativity around from one conversation to another. That only makes the negativity bigger, spreading it around, multiplying it by the number of ears that heard you. No, you have to back off. Give it back to the source. Give those things back to whoever it was, so that you can be at peace and align yourself with the right, true spirit. Let me take this another step further. As I forgive, I free myself to experience happiness, prosperity, and peace. When I choose to forgive, I hold the key to my spiritual growth and abundant living. As I forgive, I open the door to a greater understanding of divine goodness, substance, and love. I release hurt, anger, disappointment, and resentment, and receive in turn freedom, happiness, prosperity, and peace. To help you forgive, pray this. Thank you, God, for revealing what needs to be forgiven. You guide me to the liberation of my soul. You lift my consciousness and heal my life. You help me know and practice true forgiveness. Then give up feelings that weigh you down and block your good. You can say to yourself, as I free myself, I experience true healing and restoration. So consider this, especially when you're really angry about something, or even easier, okay? It's easy to release when you hear somebody else's negativity, and you become more centered and calm and mentally give back that word, that phrase, that picture, that expression, that emotion, to forgive it back to them so it doesn't hook you and stay inside your mind and heart. Keep your mind and heart free. Stay centered and balanced, and forgive everything else. Thank you so much for listening. I want to let you know that this may be one of the last calls for a while, but I can still do private sessions at 575-425-0770. You can call for an appointment and have professional service that way. And hope you can come back, listen to it as often as you want. And some of these are being posted on YouTube as Quantum Theology Radio. There's just a few of them there, just to help get you recentered, realigned, lift your spirit, lift your soul to a new height. Thanks so much again for listening. We'll start the discussion in the conference.